Hey, Dwight Clow here, and good to have you back here. I'm shooting outside again, so I hope this goes well. There will be some traffic noise, and we are talking about the gift of your influence. I am all about helping people experience God and make a difference. And today, I'm going to show you why your presence is good news for your world. Again, we're on this series, The Gift of Your Influence, and this is day 11, and we've already talked about why the gift of your influence is the most important spiritual gift. We've gone through, let us see, 5 amazing possibilities, and that just explains why you are able to make such a huge impact with the gift of your influence. And then we talked about your 6 unique qualifications, what makes you irreplaceable. No one else in all of human history can have the footprint, the kingdom footprint that you can have. And now we're talking about 7 transforming identities. And this shows you how God has uniquely designed you to be the change agent that your world needs. And again, when we talk about identity, identity is something that we are, not something that we hope to be. Identity is not something that's a goal, it's a present reality. It's not something that we're trying to be, or that we hope to one day be, or that we're wishing that we could be. Identity is something that we are. And the other thing about identity is it can't be taken away from you. You know, even if somebody robbed me or tortured me or murdered me, I would still be Dwight, son of Lee and Jeanette. Nobody can take that away from me. And likewise, all the other aspects of my identity, nobody can take that away from me, and nobody can take your identity away from you. So identity is a very powerful thing. And now, why are these identities transforming? Well, when you understand who you really are, it changes the way you experience life. Let me give you a couple examples. 3 of my 4 kids got their black belts in karate. And one day I was talking to my son, and I was just telling him about how when I was a kid I was bullied, and I often felt this great fear when I went to school because I never knew what was going to happen, who was going to do what to me. It was just terrible living with this fear of bullying. And he said to me, "Dad, I've never been afraid of anybody my entire life. Never once." And wow, you know, as a black belt, he had that confidence that was part of his identity, and it just gave him a completely different life experience than I've had. Let me give you another example. There was a story some time ago about a homeless man, as I recall the story, and my wife tells me I get things screwed up. But anyway, as I recall the story, he was sleeping on a park bench when a private detective woke him up and gave him the good news that he was wealthy. He wasn't a multimillionaire, but he was affluent. He had enough money to live comfortably all the rest of his life. Now what happened? His brother had passed away and left his entire inheritance to him. And now this homeless man was a wealthy man, but he didn't know it. He was sleeping on a park bench. And yet when he found out what had happened, what his brother had done, it completely changed the way he experienced life. And so as you and I come to a better understanding of who we really are, it will completely transform us. It will completely change how we experience life. Anyway, on to these 7 identities. I'm just going to spend a couple minutes today talking about transforming identity number 1, and this is given by Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5. You are the salt of the earth. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean to be salt? Well, what does salt do? Salt preserves and salt flavors. And so you preserve your world. You help to preserve your world. You keep it from spoiling. And you help to bring out, as Eugene Peterson says in the message, the God flavors in your world. And to put it another way, your presence is good news. When you walk in a room, things improve. Good people are glad to see you. You are designed to make a difference. So let me just give like a little example of this. And first of all, let me just ask the question, well, why is that? Why are we the salt of the earth? Why do we make this kind of difference? And I think the reason is, it's because we carry the presence of Jesus with us. You know, Jesus lives inside us if we're a follower of God, if we're a follower of Jesus Christ. And God's Spirit lives inside us, and God's presence goes with us wherever we go. And what that means is we carry the presence of God into our world. And we do that without even trying. It's just part of who we are. Now, I'll give you an example. It's not the best example, but it's maybe an easy example to understand. And that is this. I make a habit of not using bad language. Not that I never slip, but as a rule, I do not use profanities or obscenities or vulgarities in my speech. And now, why is that? The reason is because that language can be used as a weapon. It's been used as a weapon against me, and it's not pleasant. And our words should not be weapons. Our words should bring hope and healing and life and encouragement into our world. And we'll talk more about that in later videos. But anyway, I don't want my words to be weapons, so I don't use bad language. And now this is something that I never talk about in public. Matter of fact, I think in the last 30 years, this is the first time I've mentioned this in public. But I don't use bad language. And I have noticed on numerous occasions that I've been in a group, and I've never mentioned to people this thing about not using bad language. And by the way, if you use colorful language, I'm not saying this to rag on you, and I'm certainly not trying to be the language policeman. It's not in my heart at all, okay? But a number of times I've been in groups. I haven't mentioned that I'm a Christian. I haven't mentioned anything about language or no language, and somebody will just let out with a string of expletives and then suddenly stop and turn to me, of all people in the group, and apologize for using the language. Now, why is that? Is it that I'm trying to make people feel uncomfortable about the words that they use? No, not at all. It's not in my heart. But I think what it is people recognize and sense, even if they can't fully explain it, the Spirit of God within me, the presence of God in that group. And I think that that's why that happens. And maybe that's happened to you. But anyway, we carry the presence of God into our world as the salt of the earth. And so, how do we do that? Well, I'm sure that you're a lot more creative than I am, and you probably have a lot better ideas on how to do this than I do. But one little way that I do it is as I'm just driving along or walking along, I realize that God is with me. And as I see people, I'm not legalistic about this, I just, as I think about it, I do it. I just pray for people, silently. God, send some special kindness into this person's life, or God, protect this person, or God, watch over this person's life for good, or whatever, just simple little prayers. And you know something? I really believe that God hears every one of those prayers. And I really believe that there is a ripple effect for good that is happening in the lives of many, many people, because I prayed those short, simple prayers for people, just random people, as I was driving by. And I believe that this ripple effect for good will continue on in their lives long after I'm gone, and I'll see the fruit of that in eternity. Anyway, my question that I'm leaving with you is, how are you bringing God's presence into your world. What are you doing to do that? It's something not that we've got to do, but something that we get to do. It's a privilege that we have as a salt of the earth. Anyway, great to chat with you this time, and every time. And I just want to again invite you to kim51.com. That's my store, kim51.com. I have a free gift waiting for you, and we'll see you next time.